Hi everyone, welcome back. If you're a new viewer, consider hitting that subscribe button down here or down here and giving a thumbs up. And if you're a returning viewer, great, you're going to hopefully like this next video I got. If you remember, in the previous video I done, right at the end I showed you an engine remote starter kit I built for the car. Good news is the videos are out, ready. I've got to edit them down. Problem is, it's going to be 2 to 3 videos, so maybe a couple of weeks worth of stuff. I've shortened it down, so this first video you're going to see right now is going to be the first part of the circuit you need to build. The next video will be basically the rest of the circuit, and then the third video will be just showing you how it works, how to wire it into the car, and hopefully the final product in a box, finished in a case, installed into a car. So let's crack on with the video. Thanks for watching, guys, really appreciate it. Take care. Okay, so I'm going to start making a start. Okay, so now I've got all the test board running. Here it is. It works. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to transfer this circuitry onto the permanent PCB board, which is this piece here. I've got it resting into my helping hands here. I've got a 12-volt regulator, one of these, sit already here faced up, so I can solder each leg individually, and then I'm going to work my way through the circuitry as I go. So nice hot soldering iron. I'm just going to take your time with this. Put a bit of solder on the tip, heat the pin up, and it catches just like that. And you do each one the same. Let's zoom in, give you a better look. I'm going to go for the middle leg now, just here. And that's the first one in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to clean my soldering iron, and I'm going to put the 5-volt one in next to it, which I've got actually on this side, the other side balancing. You can cut the legs off. Make it nice and clean. So flipping the board over. That's solid. That's my 12-volt one. So we put this one right next to it. So you can see. Okay, I'm gonna line it up. Put it back into the helping hands. Okay, so now I'm going to solder in the 5-volt regulator. I've cleaned the tip of my soldering iron. Put a little bit of solder on it. And there's the 2 regulators put into place. Now you want to put a 12-volt line in here, because this is where your 12-volt line will come in on the X line, which is all this line here. All this line here will be live 12-volt. This second one in will be ground. The third one in is also 12-volt, so you can bridge between there and here. So the 5th line in is 12-volt. then it's ground, and then it chucks out on the other side 5 volts. You need the 5 volt to power up your RF transmitter receiver module. Okay, so for the next part of this project, you got your regulators in place. You're going to need 2 power caps, capacitors. In the description there'll be links to everything you need. Here's my first one, 2 legs, it doesn't matter which way they go. You want to put one on the 12 volt line and one on the ground on the 12 volt regulator. So this leg here on the 12 volt line and this one on the ground, and then you got your second one. Okay, and you do the same, but you put this one on the outside on this line here, the third line in. So you've got one in there and one in there. Okay, and that'll sit nicely there. When they're soldered in place, you can get them how you want to sit. And I'm going to flip this over and solder these into place. Okay, as you can see, I've got one in place. I've removed the other one so you can see how I'm going to solder. When you flip them upside down, it's good practice doing one leg one way and the other leg the opposite. Okay, that way it'll hold it in place whilst you solder it, because you can always bend these back and clip them off. So let's crack on with that one now, shall we? And it keeps them clean. I'm going to install the other one now. So flip it back over. Install it exactly where you wanted it before. I'm going to bend that leg up, that leg over like that. Okay, balance it back on the helping hands and solder these in place. And then again, you bend the legs up and clip them off. One, two, and that's the capacitors put in place. So next you want to get some wiring, bridge them across. So you want to get your ground wire and put a bridge wire from there to there, and a power wire from there to there. So as you could see from my practice board, I've done the circuitry already, look. So I can use everything off of here and just mimic straight onto here. So I'm going to pull wires off bit by bit from here. Some of these wires you won't need, like this one. This is a bridge for the ground from there to there when I was testing it. As you see on the back of the breadboard, let me flip it over and show you the ground line. Look, it's completely ground all the way down there, so you won't need to put any more ground wiring in here, hopefully. Right, so now I'm gonna get my grounding wire. You can make these yourself with wire. So I'm going to do with my grounding pin. So I'm going to ground this pin here and this pin here. Right, so I'm going to get my little test wire, put it in like so. Okay, that'd be fine like that. Flip it over and you can see where they come through here. Don't know if you can see. There's one leg there and one there. So I'm gonna just bend them over a little bit. Just so it holds a little bit. It's quite difficult trying to record with this stuff. Alright, and then I'm going to solder it. Okay, so there you go, I've soldered that wiring. Okay, there and there. There's a little bit of wire I could probably snip off there, and a little bit of wire I could probably snip off there. Okay, so as you see then, I've done my ground wire. Next I'm going to grab the power bridge wire, which will go next to it, here to here. Grab my little red one, put it in there. So put it in one in there. One there, and as before, flip it over. Right, so now you've done the bridge wire for the 12 volt. You solder here and solder here. And that's your 12 one put into place. See how neat and tidy that is? And that's your 12 volt voltage regulator. 12 volt comes in on this leg. The middle one's a ground, which is a common line. You've got 12 volt out, 2 power caps. You bridge the ground, bridge the positive on this regulator. This is a 5 volt regulator. You've got 12 volt coming in, your common ground, and your 5 volt out. This 5 volt out pin, right, will power up the 5 volt. I don't know if you can see it on there, the second one down, it's 5 volt. It will power up the 5 volt on there. It'll sit like that. Obviously I've got to put the chip on here for it to work, but what you do is you get another wire from there and you bring it over to here, and that gives you your 5 volt power supply to power this up. Okay, so the next part of this build, you want to be putting your 5 volt line in from your 5 volt regulator. So it'll go from this pin here across to the 5 volt pin, which is here. You put your 5 volt line in there, come across and put it into your 5 volt line on that side. Then you do like you've done with the other wires, you flip it over and solder it in from the underside. And as you can see, that's in nice and tidy. So that's your next wire. Okay, so on this next bit, I'm going to bring back in my test board like this, and you're going to start putting the rest of the wiring in. So I'm going to put my ground in, this one here, which is the first part of the circuit. I'm going to put it on here, and then I'm going to start building the circuitry. So get my ground wire, and it goes right next to the blue one. So this is a 5 volt line. The ground's going to be this A one here. So we're going to put it in. And we're only going to solder this one side in for now, because we want to build the circuit first and then work out where this is going to go over here. So we're going to get the RF modulator that I still need to mount a chip to. Okay, now you've got that in place. Okay, I'm not going to solder this in, but we'll go back to the test board and look on how we're going to build it. So we want the rectifier, and that will come out of D2. Let's see if we can get a close up of this. Put in there. The rectifier there comes into D2. Okay, and it comes across. So I'm going to take this out and solder it into line, into place. Just remember where everything goes. Ooh. So this goes to D2. Let's move this all out of the way. This is your A signal, so your starting signal. So on this RF board, you're looking for D2. Drop straight in like so. And as before, you want to bend the pins and solder them in place again. Makes for a nice tidy fit, and that's the first part of the circuit put in. The rest of it you'll be able to do without having to add the RF board. So the next part, looking at it, will be the power cap and the 1K resistor underneath. Okay, so here's a new one. So this is the negative and this is the positive. Another way to tell is, as you can see, the obvious is the negative is a shorter leg than the positive leg. Okay, so what you do is with the positive side of this capacitor, you put it to the negative side of the rectifier. To tell which side's the negative side of the rectifier, I should have said, is you'll have a grey line on one side and the other side is completely black. The grey line indicates negative. Okay, might sound confusing, but put the positive into so you can see what I'm doing. There you go. Okay, I'm not going to solder this in just yet on my test board and get this 1K resistor here. In fact, I'll show you as I do it, makes more sense. So I'll pull that out of there. So I'll pull that out of there. And this, if I remember rightly, goes to the same line, positive line. So in line with the negative from here to here. I've put that in backwards, look. Good thing I double checked that then, wasn't it? If anyone noticed that, post a comment. But it goes in like that. So then on the positive pole, it's in like that. Okay. So you can solder them bits in. So as always, as normal, flip over. Bend the legs the way you need them to go. So we get back to your test board. You want the transistor next. Best way to do this is just gently bend the legs. You ain't got to put too much force on them, so it opens it up a bit. And then reposition it back to where you need it to go. Right, so as you can see now, I've sorted it out. The base pin is in line with the resistor. The emitter pin is in line with the ground on here, and the collector pin, this one here, will have another rectifier diode on it, like this one, and it'll run over here, and then we'll run a 12 line to it, and that'll be the first part of the circuit built. So I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to solder this transistor into place, put this ground to the back of it, and that's that bit, first bit done. Just clip them away and it keeps it nice and tidy looking. So now what we can do is we can come back over to the front, get the ground wire, and we're going to attach it to the emitter pin. And attach it to the emitter pin. In fact, what I'll do is I'll hold this, support it so I can push it through. And as I push it through, I'm going to heat up this solder with the other hand. And just enough to do that. See? And then the cable's in. We've got one more rectifier to put in. Then put one more bridge wire in, and that's the first part of this build done. Push it down. Push one pin like that, and one like that, and then you solder. And that's that bit. We're going to get the 12 volt on this side now over to here. Okay, and that's the first part of the circuit built. And it will come across to the rectifier. So that will go in there. Then this side will go in there. But we'll do the relays nearer the end. So flip over again, bend that leg, bend that leg, solder. There you go. That is the first part of the circuit. Fairly straightforward to build, just time consuming. And how that sits now in the circuit is where the rectifier is. You've got the two blue wires here. You'll have one that'll sit below the rectifier on that side, like so, and the other one will sit like so. They'll be soldered into place. So if you've enjoyed this video and you want to watch the rest of this build, this process, consider hitting that subscribe button and turning on the bell notification, so then you'll be notified of when I've uploaded the next video to this collection. Also, you won't miss out on future videos and stuff like that. So what's left to say? Check out the next video, it'll be coming up soon. Thanks for watching, and cheers for the continued support. Thank you very much.